Hey everyone, this is your friendly neighborhood world film geek Albert Valance, and welcome to the third episode of the Ladies of Horror special for Women's History Month. I have with me a very special guest today. We have Jamie Bernadette here. She is a veteran of indie horror films and a lot of other stuff as well. She has appeared in films like 420 Massacre, Face of Evil, Reality Queen, and I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. And we're here. I'm so happy that she's on here today. And so thank you, Jamie, for appearing on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So my first question is, where did the journey begin? How did it all begin for you in the horror genre? As as a youngster, did you enjoy horror films?
I did actually. I always wanted to be in horror films and act in them. I was quite obsessed with them. So I do believe strongly in, manifesting and the power of the mind and stuff. So yeah, you can say it kind of happened. Like I kind of fell into it, but that's always what I wanted and what I was hoping for. So
So that's awesome. You're living the dream. You got the dream. You want. What were your favorite horror films as a child?
Well, I was obsessed with A Nightmare on Elm Street. That was one of those ones that I would act out. Like I would play the part of Nancy and I knew all the lines and I would and I would act out the scenes over and over and over and over. Like I was just completely obsessed with it. And I grew up watching a lot of Hitchcock with my mom, like Psycho and The Birds, and we would watch him over and over again. So I actually think she was an influence on me as well.
That's too bad you didn't get to do the remake then as Nancy, because I think you would have done a great job on that film if that was the case.
That would have been a complete dream come true. That would have been unreal. Yeah, that would have been amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, growing up, I grew up in the '80s, so I was into slashers, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. But I really got into horror in my teen years. Began with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is still my favorite, all-time favorite to this day, and these low-budget ones. So I totally. And at one point, I did want to get into special effects, but I think Destiny took me to a different route, which is where I am today. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
But what was it like becoming like when you did your first horror film actually as an actress? What was that like, and what film was it, and what was the experience like?
It was actually Son of Sam, Uli Lomel. Yeah, unfortunately he's passed away now. But he lived a full life. I think he was like 70 when we did that film. And I mean, it was all improv and my friend got me in it. It was just like, can you come to set? And I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I've made it.
You knew right
you
away.
know, I was like, this is it. Um, but no, it was a great time, a lot of fun. But yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm working with Uli Lomo. I mean, everyone knows him from the Boogeyman and all that, and that must have like your first horror film to work with a legendary director like him. That must have been quite the experience.
Yeah, it definitely was. And then it was distributed by Lionsgate. So, I was very fortunate.
That's awesome. So let's talk. Let's see. I got your IMDb page here, so we'll talk about some of your other stuff that you worked on. Let's see here. Oh, you did a short film, a Mortal Kombat short film, Rebirth. What was that like?
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, like a fan film. I knew some of the people in it, they were good friends of mine. So, yeah, they just kind of brought me on.
That's awesome. And you also were in one of the Bunnyman movies. And even though you and Maria were in the movie together, you obviously didn't do your scenes together. She just had a small role as a bus driver, but you had a quite a prominent role. What was it like doing Bunnyman? Because I've seen like some of the clips from that. The movie looked insane.
Yeah, I mean, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun on that. What can I say about it? I mean, we were out in the middle of nowhere, so it was quite an adventure. Like people were like camping and there was like no hotels anywhere. So yeah, it was an adventure and I love that. I love nature. I love camping and all of that. So it was right up my alley.
That's awesome. And I know I totally see you from some of your films. You have this strong, you play like the strong survivalist type. I could totally see that. I saw that in 420 Massacre, where you played Jess, the birthday girl, and you don't show it at first, but then you get egged on to show your little self-defense skills, and you did like a judo throw. So that begs me to ask, did you learn that just for the film, or do you have some sort of background in learning that stuff just for fun or whatnot, like the fighting skills?
No, I was a dancer actually, which apparently that helps you with fight choreography, but I didn't know that. I, like you said, I just tend to play the stronger type roles. I'm not sure why that is. I didn't know that that was where I would fit in well. So yeah, I just started doing films and getting cast as that, and then working with fight choreographers, and that's how I learned what I know. I've done so many stunts now and fighting and stuff like that, but yeah, I was never formally trained in that, besides with the, you know, the stunt coordinators and the ones who choreograph the fights. So yeah, but apparently my dancing did work. I remember one of the first fight choreographers I worked with, he was like, "Were you a dancer?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, because you have taekwondo kicks that take people 3 years to master." So I guess that helped me a lot. But
Yeah,
yeah, I never knew I was gonna fit into the strong type, but I've kept on booking that. But that's great because I like that role.
it is. I
It's
think, yeah, I love, that's the type of like stuff I like. I grew up, that's the other genre I grew up with. If I didn't grow up with horror, I grew up with watching, you know, martial arts flicks and stuff like that. And those are like the two genres I grew up with probably the most out of any genre. And you know, I do read about these dance women, you know, women with dance backgrounds, or even like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was a ballet dancer, and you see what he does in his movies. He does it with like such grace. But yeah, to see you in that, I could tell because you get that look in your eyes in some of your films, like you're ready to kill someone. And I'm thinking you could possibly play a killer in some films. Like you get this intense look. But I do like the fact that you play more of the strong final girl. Like we usually get the final girls who are like really scared or scream queens. You're more like the survivalist final girl, which I like. That's another type I like.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I never thought of that actually. You know, it is a different type of final girl for sure.
Yeah, because they, you know, let's go back to I Spit on Your Grave, the original, where you have Jennifer who's attacked so many times, and then the instinct comes out of her and she starts seeking revenge in these gruesome ways, which still makes me cringe as a guy, but that's besides the point. But you got to do the direct sequel with her, with Camille Keaton, and I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, with Maria Olsen, our last guest. What was that like working with them? Because that Maria said such nice things about you and Camille, and she had such a blast working on it. And so, what was it like from your viewpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I did know the original even before I saw the casting notice for the sequels. So, working with Camille, I mean, she's an icon, you know? And luckily, I mean, we hit it off right away. And it was like we had known each other forever. And we're still the best of friends. Like I call her on a regular basis. So I felt really comfortable with her, you know? But yeah, it was quite something meeting her. And then Maria, yeah, we had worked on a couple of films before together, but I never really got to know her until I Spit. So yeah, it was just lovely getting to know her and spend time with her. And then, you know, sometimes we'll go to red carpets together and stuff like that and events since then. So I love that we built a friendship on that film, you know, and I admire her and her work. I mean, she's an icon as well
I agree.
in genre.
She's one of those supporting actresses who I feel like her name should be out there a lot more than it seems to be among
Mm.
certain communities. But for the horror film communities, I think she's definitely one of the greats, and with her and hearing her background story, how she had like no TV, no films from her where she's she's from South Africa as well, and to hear where she came from, they didn't have TV or film. She got her horror kicks through books, reading Dracula and stuff. And then like you, she had a background in stage, you have a dance background. She had a background on stage. To hear all that and how it transitioned to what it is today, I mean, that's just amazing to hear.
Yeah, it truly is. Yeah, she overcame a lot to be where she is today.
And she even told me you had an input in the film where you said like where she told me that if you had to get naked, one of the other actors had to get naked as well, and the director was all for it. And that's what I really like. I like a director who allows input from their actors. Not just directors who say you need to do this, you need to do that. They want your input, and I really appreciate directors who are willing to listen to their actors.
I said that.
Yeah, she said something like, if you had to get declothed a lot in the film, she mentioned like, why can't the men also? Because
okay, yeah,
the men.
Yeah. I thought you meant like her. I
no,
was like, no,
not her, like the guys, because we were talking about equality and how you were all you stood you were like, if I have to get naked, why can't the guys? Exactly. And so I was like, I was like, that's totally awesome to hear that they were all for that with listening to you on that.
Yeah, totally they were. And I am all about that. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to keep objectifying women the way that we have.
Exactly.
Like let's show some of the guys for a change, and definitely make it more equal. So I'm all about that. And they were
So speaking of that, did you get to see the new Slumber Party Massacre yet, or not quite yet?
No.
Well, I will tell you, you're gonna like it, because they don't objectify women in this one. It's the guys who get objectified in this one. They have they get a pillow fight, and there's a guy who gets a shower scene in the movie, not the girls.
That's awesome. Really?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes, that's because and there's a scene where the girls are walking in and they see the guys having the pillow fight, and one of them questions, is this what guys do when we're not around? That's what they did. They did the reversal. And I'm like, I was so glad that they did that, because I agree. When it comes to the old school horror, it's always the women who get objectified, and I'm glad to see that there's equality in that sense. It's building up, and I'm glad they're doing that now.
Yeah, me too. It's getting better. It is.
So, out of today's horror films, like the recent ones, what have you seen, and what have you like? Are there any that you really liked most out of anything?
I mean, it's not that recent, but Hereditary, I really liked. Summer, I really liked.
I liked Summer too. That movie was crazy.
Yeah. I like horror with, I like all horror, but lately I've liked quite a bit of psychological horror, so that's been where I've been leaning, and in my own work as well, like my own writing and stuff.
Oh, so you're writing horror films as well? Like you're writing horror films as well now? You're getting into that?
Yeah, I mean, I co-wrote The Sixth Friend, which I also produced and starred in, and then I wrote a film this past year, last year, that I directed for the first time, and I produced that, and I lead the cast, and it's more of a psychological horror.
Oh, I definitely will have to check that one out, because I'm all for that, and I'm also for supporting female horror directors. Definitely, we were talking about a mutual friend of ours, Reine Swart, earlier, just a little while ago, and she directed a movie, The Hex. I don't know if you gotten the chance to see that. That was like a psychological horror film that she did in South Africa, and it was good. I mean, I don't know if you got a chance to see that one yet.
I haven't. I want to, though. I think it was called The Mask. Is that right?
It's called, in South Africa, it's called Her Mask, and they released it in the US as The Hex, because I have the DVD.
Okay.
And it was, so it's on DVD now. You can get it. It's there's some parts that were a little cringy to me, because it looks like we were talking about the scene where a girl sees like her nail coming out, and I don't know why I can watch throat getting slashed and stuff like that, but when I see something like that, it just gets me cringy. I don't get it. I don't know if it's what the psyche is with that, but
Yeah, I think everyone has their own thing that creeps them out, you know.
yeah. But I'm into the slashers. I'm into still, and I like werewolf movies. That's my other favorite horror films. I like seeing the transformations, but I like practical transformations. I don't like the CGI stuff. It's just looks too fake for me.
Yeah.
What's your thing with special effects? Do you like the practical effects more? Do you feel like they're more realistic than the CGI effects?
I mean, generally, yeah, I think there can be too much CGI for sure. Um, so yeah, you want to try to do as much practical as you can, I think, and then add in what you need to.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why I like indie horror films, because they make the most out of like the lowest of budgets, and they could still make the film look good rather than these A-list Blumhouse type things where they sometimes resort to using CGI effects and it just doesn't look right. And that's why I like indie horror films as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, who would you consider your favorite? Well, I know you like pretty much like working with everyone on on your films, but who would you say or like some standouts that you would love to mention that you'd love working with?
Oh man, directors or
Yeah,
actors?
yeah, directors. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. There's so many. I really liked working with Sean Kane, Dead by Dawn. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you saw that one, but Lou Simon, All Girls Weekend, and I mean, gosh, I don't want to forget anyone.
That's okay.
I mean,
Dylan,
Daryl
Dylan,
Root.
Dylan Reynolds on 420
Yeah,
Massacre, because that looked like a fun film.
yeah, Dylan, he was great. I mean, they're all great. I mean, Daryl Root, it's not a horror film, but The Furnace. He's an Oscar-nominated
Oh,
director.
you worked with him too?
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to see that because he's one of my favorite directors.
Oh, it's a
Daryl.
film.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah,
Yeah.
he directed Reine and the Lullaby, and
Yeah.
that movie was insane.
Yeah,
Like,
that was really
but
good.
but Daryl is one of those who does like all genres, which I like. I like that directors can try different things. But Daryl is a guy who's done like almost every genre imaginable. So it's like you got to see like the type of films he does.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an amazing director.
So what was that? What was the name of that movie you worked with him on?
The Furnace.
The Furnace. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we talk about. Yeah, let's talk about 420 Massacre because I watched that this morning, and what was it like working on that film and with the cast and all that? What was that like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, playing a martial artist is a lot of fun. I like doing stunts and fighting and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. When I read that script, I was like, this is going to do really well, and I just knew it. I knew that people would like it. It's just kind of blown up. It was on Showtime like 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, just the whole theme and everything. It's quite funny, you know.
It is. I liked Stacy's role in that movie, Stacy Danger, because she was just the second she comes out of the trunk and she's already smoking.
Yeah.
And then when she gets the bag of weed and she just starts blabbering, I was like laughing through that whole thing. But she had one of the most inventive deaths of that movie. I was like, that was insane because we saw a lot of slashings, but her death was just one of the best in that movie. Like if I had a kill count, I would consider that one of the best ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of all time. One of the best. Like it was amazing. Yeah, the girls were great. They were a lot of fun. So yeah, it was a good experience.
And I like the twist of the story where the one had the crush on you and she tried to kiss you. And you had this old little conversation and it's just like you were totally fine with it, but she still thinks you were still like uneasy with that. And I like that there's that LGBTQ representation now of horror films, and that I really appreciate as well. I feel like they're now getting their voice in the horror community. And I feel like that, that's a whole big part of it. And I'm glad that they're doing that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those there was they did a slasher film last year, Death Drop Gorgeous, which I have to mention. It was an LGBTQ slasher, had drag queens, slasher, deaths and all that. It had the whole blood ritual. That was such a big. I think that's on Shudder now, so I would recommend that one to people. So check that one out. So let's see what else. So what I know you recently were filming. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't you recently get married?
I did, yeah.
Yes. So I want to say congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I was going to say that earlier, and I just didn't get a chance to. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
But you're keeping pretty busy lately, so that's good too. Is there anything new that's coming out that you can talk about?
Yeah. Where do I begin?
That's what I'm
Ash and
saying.
Bone is coming out. I have like 10 films coming out hopefully this year. I have the Colonials. I don't want to forget any of them. I have the Colonials coming out. It's a sci-fi film. Amazing filmmakers. It's just incredible. I've seen clips and everything. Have Sebastian coming out. Really it's an interesting plot. Yeah, I can't say too much, but it's a horror as well. Maybelline Prince, which is about Maybelline Cosmetics. Actually, it's a true story.
Oh wow.
What Blows the Wind should come out. It's a horror. And State of Desolation, I produced that one, and it's a post-apocalyptic story about a pandemic that sweeps the world, and there's only a few people left. So that's completed, and we're seeking distribution. So hopefully this year. I have Homestead, a Western, which is like a Western horror that takes place in the 1800s. Hopefully that'll come out as well. So quite a few.
Yeah, that's there's one here called Ash and Bone. That's another one. That's another one you came out. That says completed. I'm looking at IMDb, so hopefully that'll be out.
Yes, Ash and Bone. It has distribution. I'm just waiting on a date. Release date, but that should definitely come out this year.
That's the one from Harley Wallen, right? He directed that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it because he's in my World Film Geek Hall of Fame, so that's how I remember. I'm like, yeah, do you recognize that one because he did that? Yes. Oh, that's cool. That must have been great working with him on that one.
It really was. Honestly, they're such a fantastic team. I mean, they treated me so well. It was a dream.
That's awesome.
It was a dream, truly. Yeah, I loved working with them.
So I do want to talk about, because you said you do a lot of your own stunts. Did you ever sustain any serious injuries like during any filming that you can remember?
I mean, not serious. I've definitely been hurt before, but that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People accidentally, like I've been punched in the nose and had some other stuff happen. I don't know if I want to talk about, but yeah. But yeah, it comes with the territory. I mean, you know what you're getting into. Accidents happen no matter how much you rehearse.
Yeah, because you have big actors who, like Tom Cruise broke his ankle. Dylan O'Brien nearly died on Maze Runner, and
yeah.
We had that one stunt. What was her name? Olivia Jackson, who was a stunt woman. She got seriously hurt on Resident Evil. So yeah, it does come with the territory, but you still, there's still got to be out there for safety precautions. But yours seem to be kind of, just all right. I got hit in the face a few times. I got thrown. I hurt landing. Probably landing on stuff, but you're still alive and kicking and just doing what you're doing best. But yeah, it just seems like I'm glad that you get to do your own stunts, and because very few actors can say that. They always feel like they have to get stunt double because of insurance reasons. But if you're willing to do it, and you think you train well in it, which you obviously have, from what we just talked about, go for it. You're there to entertain people. you're living the dream.
Yeah, totally. And I have fun doing it too. So, you know what I mean? As long as you enjoy it. Would I do something like, fly a motorcycle over a
Yeah,
crevice?
I don't think you did anything like that. I could see
But
more. To be honest with you, I can see you doing either, whether it could be a horror in a horror genre or something. I don't know why, but I could see you as an action star as well. Like
yeah,
you're getting all these female action oriented films now, like the Protege that just came out with Maggie Q, the 355. I,
mhm.
for some reason, now as you mentioned this, I could see you doing an action film down the road, like a full on total action film, or even like a horror style action film that's gonna have like action horror style violence to it. I could totally see that with you because you just got that intensity when it calls for it.
I would love that actually. That would be a dream come true. I love action. Killing Joan had a lot of action. It was a horror type action film. So yeah, I do love that a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna look out for that one. I still haven't seen that one yet. And you also did Sinbad with John Hennigan as well, and that must have been a blast to have done.
It was so much fun. He's so funny. Like I just laughed and laughed during the whole film. I would have to get it together between the takes. Yeah, he's hilarious. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Let's see. And you've done your share of short films too. Demon in the Dark, to name one. We talked about Mortal Kombat and The Porcelain Grave, Merc Riders. Oh, you did Resident Evil as well. So what was Resurrection? What was that like?
It was fun. Yeah, it was too like a fan film and people getting together and like a passion project. So yeah, it was fun.
That's great. Do you play horror video games as well, or you just veer away from that?
No, I don't really get into video games too much. Yeah. I read a lot, but yeah, video games were never really my thing. I like Tetris, probably because I like doing puzzles, but other than that, it's not really my thing.
Who are your you said you mentioned you like to read like horror stuff. Who are your favorite horror authors?
I love Stephen King. Yeah, I've read a lot of his. Misery is one of my favorite books ever. I don't know if you've read that, but
Yeah.
it's
I,
phenomenal.
yeah, I've read. Yeah, I read a lot of his stuff as well. I also like Dean Koontz, like some of his early stuff, like The Fun House and Watchers. And for some reason, anything like a horror movie, if a horror movie is based on a book, it's like I feel compelled to have to read the book to see which one's better. I don't know why I like feel which one's better. Like I've read almost all Stephen King's stuff that was adapted or short stories, and like Dean Koontz, I love The Fun House, Watchers. They were both made into films in the early '80s, stuff like that. So yeah, I like my share of horror books as well.
Yeah. I
And
just read the Dead Zone too. I don't know if you've read The Dead Zone by Stephen King.
yeah,
Yeah, I watched the movie. I wasn't that into the movie, but but it's hard sometimes to adapt books into movies and do it justice. And
exactly, because they always feel like they have to change this and that to please the
Mhm.
crowd, or they feel like the audience isn't gonna like it, or I'm like,
Yeah, they have to
oh,
make it shorter, like so much shorter, and you lose so much.
exactly.
So yeah.
Or like it, where they obviously had to take the one scene out, but I did like that they were placed in the new one with a blood bond between the trio, where or the losers team, the losers, where they share each other's blood as a blood pact rather than the orgy scene in the book. So I was like kind of relieved that they did something different.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes. So this is a great chat. I am so excited that you're still doing horror. You're definitely a lady of horror. People need to check more of your stuff out. 420 Massacre, I believe, is on Amazon. That's where I saw it. I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu is on Tubi, I believe. Tubi TV. That's where I saw it. And yeah, you're just still going. I'm glad you're keeping busy, and you're definitely a lady hard. I'm so glad that you got to take the time out of your schedule to come on here today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm glad we were able to work it in.
Yes, this has been like a month and a half, and almost a month in the making, and
Yeah.
finally, we finally had the time, and it's such a great chat. Just to hear that you get to do your own stunts and you're still doing all that. I'm just really stoked about it, and I cannot wait to see more of your stuff down the road.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, everyone, check out worldfilmgeek.com for the latest reviews, interviews, news. Matter of fact, my review of 420 Massacre is going up today. I just literally finished it right before we started recording, so it will go up. And believe me, it's a really fun, wild ride of a film. So check it out. Jamie is like one of the best actresses in the genre, especially with her role as the strong survival final girl, in my opinion. So definitely check out more of her stuff. Where can people see you on social media that you can?
I'm pretty active on Instagram. It's Jamie Bernadette. It's spelled just like my name. There's multiple accounts, but I'm the verified one. That's the one that I run. I'm on Facebook as well. Jamie Bernadette, I guess you would search and find me there. And I'm on Twitter, not as much, but yeah, I do some stuff on there. It's Jamie Bernadette without the E on the end.
All right. Well, for our YouTube video, we'll have the links down below in the description, so you guys can check out where you can find her. But thank you again, Jamie, for taking the time to talk about it.
That's my dog.
Yep. Oh, that's okay. Once we had an interview once, and my dog was barking in the background, so I know how that is. It's totally okay. We're good. We're all good. We're all squared away. But thank you again, Jamie, for talking about it. Check out the episode. Check out our podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and even on YouTube. So thanks again, guys, for checking it out, and I hope everyone takes care. Jamie, I hope you continue success, and I can't wait to see more of your stuff, and I hope you have a great day as well.
Thanks so much. You too.
All right, everyone, take care.
Bye.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.